family. If you're in or near Columbia, South Carolina, you've got to visit the House of Hathor, located at 6319 North Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, it's your one-stop shop for African clothing, African masks, natural soaps, incense, candles, jewelry, and more. Plus, they've got a beautiful event space. Owned and operated by Baba Rutaski and Mama Neterma Canute. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the culture. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the movement. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the people.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the House of Hathor's LIbation, Liberation Lifestyle Ceremony, that we come to you this day with the message from our ancestors that will continue to inspire, encourage, instill, give us insight, influence, and enlighten us as our true selves, as vessels, altars, and temples of their great energy, spirit, and soul. And as they continue to bring to us the information and the instructions for us to live by, that it continues to be the foundation of life, that it continues to be our values, our interests, and our principles, that it continues to bring the enhancements, the increased, and the enrichments for us to have all the tools that we need in order for us to navigate through life, to accept what nature has given to us, and that we live in balance, harmony, and order, that we continue to live our truth, that we continue to be our truth, that we become liberated within our truth, and that we are justified and protected through the Spirit in our truth as we continue to honor, navigate, as we continue to honor, as we continue to venerate, as we continue to acknowledge our angels, our ancestors, for assisting us to be all that is intrinsic within us. Let us bring the ancestors involved into our daily lives so that we know and that we continue to be that which is innate within us. We call upon our ancestors far and near, fathers and mothers of our fathers, mothers and fathers of our mothers, to bear witness to all that we have done. And it is by your example that you continue to inspire us towards reclaiming our ancestral minds, regenerating our ancestral spirit, liberating our families, our homes, and our communities, and restoring our greatness as a people. We pour libation to bring into our midst your venerable ancestral spirit, radiating your great wisdom, your courage, your dedication, and your unyielding commitment to victory by any means necessary. It is in the honor of our Creator, our great ancestor of all ancestors, our mothers and fathers, our sisters and our brothers, our children and their children, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, our aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and elders of the community, that we pour this libation in your honor, in the honor of the Creator, our great ancestor of all ancestors, and the various manifestations of the Creator Spirit. We pour libation. Ashe. For our esteemed ancestors, who laid the foundation for human civilization, and who provides the wisdom to which we live and the models by which our lives are guided, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors, who suffered the atrocities and the horrors of our Ma'afa, but yet demonstrated the victorious power of the ancestral spirit by maintaining their dignity no matter the cost, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors, who survived and made it possible for us to be here today, that we continue the fight of our ancestral liberation and our vindication, we pour libation. Ashe. And finally, for our children and their children and future generations of our ancestors to come, that they too in their time will vindicate our race from all adversaries, and that they will continue to imprint upon the world the great genes of our ancestral humanity, we pour libation. Ashe. May your venerable spirit engulf this occasion to reaffirm our ancestral canity. It is done. The great ancestor of all ancestors is satisfied. Ashe. Ashe, Ashe, Dua Neter. So we say, Hotep, peace and power to you this beautiful day, my brothers and sisters, that the ancestors and our great ancestor of all ancestors have given us the breath of life, and that the breath of life has everything that it requires for us to have within us so that we may project it outward without us. You see, the breath of life has a foundation that is within it that continues to keep us on a path of understanding what is intrinsic within us. What is intrinsic spirituality? What does it mean? What does it mean when you say you have an intrinsic spirituality? Intrinsic spirituality will have us to know that everything that we were required to have from birth, from this physical birth that we have, that we were born with everything that is needed. That intrinsic meaning that everything that's natural for you to have, to be a spiritual being having a human experience, that you already have what you are required to have. Your strength, your power, your energy, your enhancements, your increase, your enrichments, everything that you are required to have to build, to manifest, to generate, to reflect and project, it is found intrinsically within you. That the shell that we have as a vessel, this body, this altar, this temple, that when it is used in this right way, that it will give you everything that you are required to have. It is already intrinsic. It is natural for you to have everything that you need, that you're required to do while you're here. And each of us that are a vessel, an altar, and a temple of the Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors, we have all the same things that we are required to use while we're here. And that man only brings suppression, depression, or suppression to us, to take us away from our true selves as spiritual beings having human experiences. Man brings outside attractions to us, materialistic things, so that we can want for something that's outside of us and not need or want what is within us. And it is all a distraction as well as an attraction to take you away from your true selves as spiritual beings having human experiences. That everything that man can place upon us is so less than what we are. It is very minute in nature because it is not of spirit. And if it's not of spirit, then we don't need it. We're not required to have it. We're only required to have the energy. We're only required to have soul. We're only required to have spirit so that we can do the work that we are required to do to show our excellence in being a spiritual being. Think about what our ancestors endured and what they built. They built the civilization that is reflection and projection of spirit. They showed us a blueprint. They gave us examples of what is done when you are living the spiritual life. And then what they went through, the suppression, depression, and oppression, they revealed to us that regardless to what man may place on them, that they will live above it. They will fight against it. And they will show us how we can move ourselves out from under man's oppression, depression, and suppression when we're living an intrinsic spiritual lifestyle, when we're living a spiritual intrinsic way of life, when we're living an intrinsic spirituality as our liberation. That is what the ancestors bring into us today. The intrinsic way of life, it is only through the spirit. It is not what's on the outside, but it is what's on the inside. And as we honor, as we venerate, as we acknowledge our ancestors, they show us the way. Just as their ancestors showed them the way, they will show us the way. But we have to let them know. We have to submit to them. We have to admit to them that we have lost our way. And we have to submit to them that the energy, the spirit, and the soul that dwells within us, it is theirs. It is not ours. We are only a part of it. We are a vessel, altar, and temple. That means that we are a tool, we are an instrument, we are an institution, we are an industry, and we are an environment that is only used to build in the likeness of the Spirit. Everything that we build, it is in a likeness of the Spirit that dwells within us. But we have to recognize our true divinity. We have to recognize our ordainship and our anointment that has been placed on us in order to receive the blessings of the Spirit, to show how strong and how energized that we truly are, that we don't need what man has for us. We only need what the Spirit has for us. We only need the energy. We only need the souls of our ancestors to guide us, to nurture us, to protect us. And as we honor, venerate, and acknowledge them, then we bring ourselves back into a spiritual balance. We bring ourselves back into a harmonious way of life that extends itself outward to life and nature. That we're living in order with life and nature and with spirit when we are living our truth. And each of us has that truth within us. And everybody's truth is going to be different based on what the anointment has been placed upon you. But when we interconnect all that together, when we interrelate with each other, when we work interdependent with each other, when we interact with each other, then we build a community, a spiritual community that is life everlasting. Because now we become the examples of what Spirit has given to us for our children, for our children's children, and for our children's children's children, and future generations to come. We are the examples. We are who we've been waiting for to liberate not only ourselves, but for our families and for our communities. There is no one else coming. It is us that's coming. Our generations that are coming after us, they will be the next ones that will be coming to liberate, to stand firm on our values, our interests, and our principles that comes from our spirit, that is an innate, intrinsic, inherent way of life that lives within us. And it continues to bring us forward, but we have to see it for what it is in order for us to be able to navigate through the distractions and the attractions. And that the natural things that are going to come, the obstacles and the hurdles, are only there to help us to navigate and see our way through everything that is natural for us to go to. Just as life and nature goes through natural things, just as life and nature handles obstacles and hurdles, then we have ours as well that has nothing to do with man. It has to do with what is natural for a vessel to go through. Growing pains, as we would say. We are not supposed to be dealing with what man is trying to place on us. And everything that man tries to do, it is revealed to them every day that it does not control the spirit that dwells within each and every one of us. But we have to recognize our spiritual essence of life in order for us to receive the enhancements, the increase, and the enrichments that makes us stronger, that gives us intuitive knowledge and wisdom, that gives us keen insight so that we can see things before it happens. And then we stay on our path, because our path, it is the only path that will lead us to our true selves as spiritual beings having human experiences. And these are the things that the ancestors are guiding us towards. They are building within us. So let us think about our blessings that have been placed upon us. Let us continue to receive and accept what the ancestors have given to us. Acknowledge the ancestors, honor your ancestors, and venerate your ancestors so that they know that we are all starting with a clean slate and that we are going to bypass what man is trying to do. Because everything that man does, it will fall. Everything that man wants to do that's against spirit, it will not have life. It is only here for a moment. Because in the spiritual world, which is internal, which is intangible, which is infinite, it has no beginning and it has no end. Man has beginning and man has an end, especially when it's not living the spiritual life. So let us move forward, my brothers and sisters. Let us live, love, and learn our processes of life so that we may live more abundantly, more increasingly, that we may have prosperity in our lives, not outside of our lives, but in our lives. So we say peace and power to you all this day. Again, let's live, love, and learn our processes of life, because I guarantee you, my brothers and sisters, when you do that thing, when you do these things, when you submit, admit, and commit yourself to your spirit, not to anybody else's spirit, but to your spirit, to your ancestors, then they will guide you appropriately. They will guide you abundantly, because they see, they hear, and they act upon your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So we say peace and power to you all this day. Let us be cleansed. Let us absolve ourselves of all of the negative things that have come our way, so that we may be cleansed and strengthened abundantly in our true selves as spiritual beings having human experiences. Ashe to our ancestors.
O great ancestor of all ancestors, we call upon you this day that you will cleanse us of all negative energies that surrounds us, that you will break all work of negative magic that is against us, that you will take away from us all envy, evil, bad luck, and invincible enemies, and that you will bring protection, peace, and prosperity into our lives, into the lives of our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children, into the lives of our families, our homes, and our communities. We now lovingly and peacefully retrieve our energy from all that we have communicated with. We send them their energy back and any energy or energies attached to them. We now cleanse, clear, close, and lock all gates, portals, and access points in the spirit of our ancestors, and in the spirit and in the energy of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors. Ashe, 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 Ashe.